All right, let's go to the telephone. Look, this is really important. Taisha's on the telephone. She was born out of incest.
Oh.
And she's currently in an abusive relationship. You think you got it bad. Let's talk to Taisha.
The magnet.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Excuse me, Taisha. Hello. Hi, honey.
Hi, my name is Taisha Lawrence, and I'm originally from Florida, and I was born out of incest. So when I was born, my mother and my uncle actually got together, where they were brother and sister from same mother, same father.
Wow.
And they had me, and when my mother had me, she pretty much just left me in foster care, is what they have in Florida. And I just grew up in foster care because the stigma on the family, they didn't want to deal with it. I met a guy. He was down visiting in Florida, and I moved up to New York with him in May, the end of May. And at the time, he seemed like the great guy. I didn't know that he was a drug dealer, but he was Haitian. And as we got into the relationship, I realized he was a drug dealer and that he was illegally here in New York. And at that time, when I tried to break off the relationship, he started to beat me and, rape me. And so finally one day I just got up the nerve. I don't have any friends or family here. And I was just like, I just got to go. And I'd done some research on the internet, and I found out that, Safe Horizon was the number you called. I called Safe Horizon. They did not help me at all. They told me because I was a single woman that if I had a police report that it would seem more credible. He had beaten me up in Queens, so I went back to Queens. He beat me up again. And so finally, when the police, they took pictures of it. I'm real light, so I had bruises everywhere. And I called Safe Horizon again, and the lady was very rude, and she told me there's 50 other states that you can go to. You need to move somewhere else. Wow. And, I just don't want to allow him to control my life. They can't find him because he's illegally here. And they just basically told me because I don't have a child that there's nothing they can do for me. I called them repeatedly, like over and over and over. They said, keep calling back, so I continued to do so.
I just have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a third eye? No, listen, you know what they say about relationships of such close magnitude. Listen, no, seriously, let me put you on hold and come back. I do want to hear the rest of the story and try my best to help you if I can. Boy, have you been through it.
Yeah.
So your uncle is your daddy.
Yes. And my biological mother is my aunt, and they lived in the same household. And because of it, the stigma, in the small town, I came from Stanford, Florida.
Wait, hold on. Give me a moment, and we'll be right back. Phones. We've got our friend Taisha on the phone, and her horrible story. She was born out of incest. Her uncle is her father, and her mother is her mother. Her mother and uncle are brother and sister, same mother, same father. And Taisha is now calling about an abusive relationship that she's in with a Haitian drug dealer from Queens. Do I have it correct?
Yes.
Boy, what a magnet for trouble you are.
Wow. Yes, I am. And, I really thought that he was a good guy, but to make a long story short, I called Safe Horizon so many times, and after calling them over 60 times, they just basically told me that because I didn't have children that they couldn't help me. So even when I would go to the police and file police reports and they'd take pictures of my bruises, they would call Safe Horizon for me.
Okay, let me ask you something.
They just had no place for me to go.
Because you're 27 years old, you sound educated. Do you have a job?
No, and that's why I was calling, because now that I realize that Safe Horizon isn't going to help me, I'm new to New York.
Okay.
And all right, when I was with him, he always paid. I'm living in the car right now.
Okay.
I met a girl, thank God. Okay. I was in a grocery store, and I was hungry, and she came up to me.
One of them high-roller
and
girls.
I guess God sent her to me because she was in a domestic violence situation, but she had a child, so she was in a DV shelter. And so she let me live in her car, and I've been living in her car since May.
So
I don't have the proper tire.
Taisha, we're gonna get you some help, but there are a couple more questions that I want to ask you, just off topic, just to know a little bit more about you. So, how long have you been in New York?
Since May of 2008.
Yeah, so
the end of May 28th.
So you're like one of them cute high roller girls, and now you're no longer with your high roller, so now you're forced to get a job like the rest of us.
Well, I always worked in Florida. He was very abusive and controlling. He wouldn't allow me to get a job.
What did you do all day? He'd go out and slang, and you'd be shopping for Christian Dior?
I'd be in the hotel room, and he'd be calling constantly. He started off very abusive at the beginning, but I guess because I never had family, I clung on to him because he was like family to me, you know.
So what's your relationship like with your mother now?
I never knew my mother. I just knew through foster care the records that came with me. She just abandoned me when I was like 8 months old and told them what had happened.
Oh my goodness!
That she could not keep me. She was only 16 when she had me.
Had you ever met your father, brother? I mean, your father, uncle?
They want nothing to do with me. They signed their rights away.
Yeah, how old was he when you were born?
He was 15.
Okay, so your mother was 15 and 16. Now, do you have any developmental problems, you know, as you were growing up? I'm curious because...
I suffer from maybe ADHD.
Don't we all?
And, and I have some physical deformities, like, not trying to be real personal, but I have half of a crack. I don't have a whole, you know.
Laugh at me when I asked does she have a third eye.
I have a larger size head, but...
You have a big head. Laugh at me behind the scenes, see? When we went into the break, I was saying to my coworkers, I was like, I want to ask her, does she have a big water head?
A larger size head.
Yes.
And, you know.
Like Steadman.
It's just...
You know, he's from Bulltown.
I fell for him because that was the only family that I knew.
Enough about him. Back to you. So back to you. So you have no siblings, nobody.
No, my whole entire family just pretty much they signed their rights away from me, so I never met them, and I just bounced around in foster care homes in Florida until I turned 18, and then I aged out. Okay,
do you want to be our special friend? Because you're 27 right now. I would love to take your telephone number. You know, we're a very cruel audience here on the Wendy Williams Experience, but we are also loving and helpful. And so, Taisha, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have intern take your telephone number so that I can get in contact with you behind the scenes. At the end of today's show, the show is over in about 2 hours. Damn, I'm hungry. I wish it was over now.
I'm hungry too.
Now, what do you eat there in the car? Slim Jim's with a big lighter.
I met, she brings out food to me, and the reason why I was really calling is now that I realize socializing is not going to help me. I want to do it on my own. I was always a worker in Florida, and I do have job skills, and I just want to find a way for me to get a job so I can get out of my friend's car and contribute back to her and show her how grateful I was.
So where do you park at night?
Help me the way she could, because she's in the
over the side of the street, parking is suspended in all 5 boroughs. So now, where do you park the car at night?
Well, it's her car, so she has everything. So I just she parks it on the side of the road, and I move it in the morning, you know, the different sides of the road.
Yes, of course. Or you'll get a ticket, $115.
Yeah. Yes. I did get a couple of tips.
Now, how are you going to pay them?
Huh?
How are you going to pay them?
Well, that's why I want to get a job so I can repay these things.
All right,
because now it's just on her credit.
She's just so happy to talk to somebody.
But I just want to get a job. You know, I don't want to be a burden on anybody. And in Florida, I was always a hard worker. And I just want to get a job and just move on with this part of my life. Because everybody wants me to get order protection, but they can't.
Hold on. See, Texter says, Wendy, Aunt Wendy, this story sounds so made up. Is it made up, you all? This is not. You know what? Taisha, if you are yanking the chain of the experience, we're going to find your car and cut the brake wire. Yup. That's just the kind of show he is. All right, we're going to take a break. Anybody, if you could offer some assistance, I actually have her on hold. And we'll be back with more Advice Hour next. One texter says, Wendy, I don't care if she is make it up. Keep it going. It's so funny. Stop, you all. Whoever said the story was made up is the devil. I feel sorry for her. I hope she gets help. Wendy, I don't know. She might be yanking your chain. Wendy, I never really could see it before, but your show is really messed up. I love it. LOL. I can't. Wendy, you are ridiculous sometimes. That girl needs help. And you think it's funny. That ain't cool. No, I don't think it's funny. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. I got a few more questions. Taisha.
Yes?
So what do you do for heat?
Whenever we have gas in the car, she brought me out a lot of blankets.
Oh.
So I have blankets in here. I have cars. I actually bought a $1 basin at the store. She gave me $1 and I bought a basin. Wow. And that's what I urinate in.
And,
I mean, I swear to God, I wouldn't. This is so humiliating and so embarrassing, but this is really how I'm living.
No.
And, you know, it gets really, really cold in here at night. The cops actually came by the car one night, and they asked me what was going on, and I told them that I was living in there, and they were like, you know, well, you really need to go into a DV shelter. But then I told them my situation, and they agreed that, yes, it is hard when you are a single woman for them to find space for you. Yeah. And I don't want to be anybody's burden. I just want to, I have retail experience, I have customer service experience, and I just want to get a job and get past this part of my life. I'm a very strong, resilient person.
Yes.
But this, you know, even the strongest person gets beat down, and it's just so humiliating.
Oh, it does happen. Well, do you appear to be normal, like to work the floor of retail? I mean, because you mentioned your head, you mentioned, you know, you have half. I mean, I have a big head, but you know, it's not abnormal. You know, it's bigger than the average person, but it's not to where it looks like I'm a baby with water on the brain or something like that. You know? Yeah. I have flaws that if you look at me, you could, like, if you ever met me, Wendy, you could tell that there was something different about me. Yeah. And I do suffer from ADHD, but, you know, throughout the years and throughout the counseling that I've gotten being in HRS, I've learned to cope with the problems that I have. And I graduated from high school. Did your Haitian drug dealing boyfriend for a little bit? Okay, wait, hold on. Did your Haitian drug dealing boyfriend know that you were a product of incest, which might have led him to want to beat you down, like, oh, she's got no friends, no family?
Yeah, he knew that I had no family because there would be some times where he would try to force me to have sex, and if I wouldn't, he'd be like, well, then, bitch, I'm gonna put your ass out on the street. Oh, I'm sorry to curse Wendy.
No, we use that word here on the show. Ain't nothing but a thang. No, but look. All right, so this is what I want to do. I see people are calling and saying that they want to help. They're asking me what they can do. Well, you can't do anything for Taisha right now if you can't lead her to a warm cot and a meal and a shelter. And that's what she's looking for. She is a single 27-year-old woman here in New York City. She's got no children, and that's part of the reason that she says she hasn't been able to find a shelter. You can't go to a regular shelter, a single woman shelter.
I went to one, Safe Horizon referred me to one called Olivieri, and I went there, and the women that were there, I mean, it was just absolutely horrific.
Yeah, we got a uppity.
They said that I could sleep in a chair, and then after they got to know me a little bit, I could sleep on a table. And the thing for me is that
better though than sleeping
for me.
Wait a minute. Wait. Isn't that better than sleeping in a car? I mean, you start with the chair, you move to the table. Eventually, a bed will be cleared out for you. Eventually,
no, they don't have any beds. You just sleep on the table. And my thing is safety, because he's beaten me up 3 times. The first time, the time I went back to Queens to file the police report, and then another time when he found me in Manhattan.
There's got to be a better way. All right, look. Do you have whose cell phone is this?
This is a cell phone that they gave me through the Victims Treatment Center.
Okay. So, because I want to hang up on you, but I want to take your telephone number behind the scenes. Can I take your number?
Yes.
All right. And then I'm not going to call you with any, BS
yes,
numbers.
I just want to know how to job hunt, because I don't have the proper attire to job hunt, and I just want to get out of the car and make it on my own.
All right. Hold on, Taisha. Intern, you'll take your information.
They asked if Art can do it. And so Art was talking about it earlier, and I said, well, why don't you go and drag? And then I said, well, why don't you go as me, since they wanted me to host? It's strictly upscale, but you